Hi, I'm Emma, and welcome to the 6th episode of the Worsted Willow Podcast. I'm a knitter and crocheter, and I'm using this space to share all of my making related things here with you guys. You can find me at Instagram and Ravelry at Worsted Willow. I try to stay on top of my projects as best as I can there and give any additional pictures or notes that I have. I'll also include links or names of everything I talk about in the description box below so you can find any of the patterns that I mentioned here today. So let's get started with what I'm wearing. It's finished, so I know it's been a few weeks. More about that in life. Basically, I was traveling and then I was sick, so it's been a few weeks, but it is done. I was on Clue 3 last time I showed this, so here is my Twists and Turns by Stephen West, MKAL for this year. So just all of it in its full glory. I finished it this past weekend, Monday, Tuesday, Friday, somewhere in there. I don't know what time it is anymore. But basically, so last time I showed it, I was still on Clue 3. I think I was finishing up one of these. So I did all of these wingtips, which actually weren't that bad. The first few rows are really long for the purl side because it's knit stitch. So these on the back side were kind of long, but I mean, you're decreasing stitches every time. So I think one evening I was at here, and I did all of it in an evening just watching the new Christmas rom-coms and a couple other movies on Netflix. So pretty easy. And then I did the early bind off in the center. I just like that it's kind of one cohesive length with the early bind off, but I did bind off in my accent color instead of the main color. I didn't really like having that additional border color, especially when you don't really see it anywhere else in the shawl. So, and I didn't do the I cords and the cables. I tried it. Well, I actually tried doing more of a crochet I cord because I thought it would go a little faster for me, and I put it in, and I just thought it made it look too busy. I thought it would help at first bring the cables out, since, with it being variegated, it's a little bit hard to see all the texture in it. But I don't know, just there's so many sections to the shawl that I almost liked it better without the cable, or without the I cords and the cables. So, yes, she's done. She's long, oh my gosh. So when I wear her like a shawl, it's going past my fingertips, and I have to try not to get it into anything. And then when I wear it like a scarf, it goes down so far. I will say the one thing I'm not a huge fan of when I wear it like a scarf, and I've been styling it a little bit differently to make it less noticeable, but I feel like when I wear it, you see a lot of the stripe and a lot of the orange, because you have the striping in the chevron with the orange, and then you have this. And my favorite part is this in the cables, and just sometimes it styles itself where you get none of that. And that's the only thing I don't really like. But you can see it's insanely long. It goes all the way down to my mid-thigh. So, sorry. But yeah, I absolutely love it. I didn't know how it was all going to come together. Definitely through most of making it, I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to wear this shawl. Even after I saw people's finished objects, I was like, I don't know how I feel about it. But having it all done, it is gorgeous. I do love wearing it, and I'm so proud of myself with following through and actually finishing it. But yeah, it's amazing, and I feel like I had one other thing to say about it, and now I can't think of it. Oh, it's gone. So, it's still kind of like a shock to me that it's done. I don't know. I think just because I had been working on it for so long. Like, it literally took up all of my knitting time and some, like a month and a half, and just not having to work on it now, I'm like, oh, it's done. Like, I've been wearing it around constantly, and I'm still just like, oh, that's right, I finished it. So, I don't know, it's been a little bit of a weird feeling. I'm not sure why exactly I'm getting that feeling. I think just because it's modular. So like I was constantly like finishing a section and then starting a new section. So it's just weird to me that there's not another section to be moving on to. I'm just done with the shawl. So, and I haven't done modular knitting before, so I think that's part of it. Even with crochet, I haven't really done like granny square projects where you like finish a square and then you go on to the next one and then seam it all together and then you have the finished project. I've never really liked doing projects like that, so I think that's kind of where that's stemming from. Normally I have like a sweater and like I'll knit through it pretty quickly, or even if I take like a month on it, like you're not doing these like bind offs and cast ons all the time. So I think that's given me kind of a weird sense of finishing the shawl, but I love it and I'm really happy it's done. I will not be making, I was going to say I was not going to be making a shawl, but that's not true. I'm just going to start my wedding shawl soon. So I will be making a shawl, but it will not be in any sort of a time crunch. I have about 10 months till that needs to be done. So I have a lot of finished objects today besides this. So, because it's been a few weeks, and I think I said this at the last one, and it has been over 2 weeks, but I will be doing every other week going forward just to give myself time to actually finish projects and not put too much pressure on myself to get stuff done. So I think the MKAL is adding to that, but at this point I just want to do every other week and see how that goes for a little bit, especially with the holidays. And I'm still in school, so wrapping up classes and stuff. So my first finished object is a Musselburgh. And it's gonna look massive on me because it's not my size. It's not made for me. But this is for my fiance. It's in Bears colors. It's a it's a yarn bee, which is from Hobby Lobby. I don't shop there anymore. And the color is natural slate, but it has like orange and blue pops in it, so it works really well for Bears, and he loves it. He barely takes it off. He wears it inside because it's cold out, and yeah, it's a good time. I bought this yarn right after I started learning how to crochet and knit, so it is a relic of a year ago, and since then I have stopped shopping there. But the yarn worked out really well. I did follow the pattern exactly to like the length it called for and everything. I kind of wish I just used the full ball of yarn because I think it could have folded. It's a pretty thin double fold. I wish it had been maybe like an inch or two thicker. Not a two, but like maybe like an inch thicker, like that thick. But it rests more naturally like this. So just when you wear it on and it kind of stretches out a little bit, it looks even smaller. So I wish I had put a little bit more length on it. I did have extra yarn, but it's all good. It's loved, and that's all we can hope for. So I won't talk too much more about that because I have another Musselburgh on my lips. So my next finished object is a Sophie scarf. So I made this. I'm not sure if I'm going to give it as a gift to my mom for Christmas yet, or if I'm going to keep it for myself because it's adorable. I'm not sure how much I'd wear it, to be honest, though. But so this is the Sophie scarf by Petite Knit, and it's just, I'll put a picture of how the pattern looks worn because I don't want to take this MKAL back off and show you guys. But basically you wrap it around your neck and you tie it off. So I had a bunch of yarn left over from my mom's beret. That was a 100-gram fingering skein. It was Muse 2320 in Sandpiper, which is their tweed base. See, there's a lot of little tweed in that. It's in the color Stone, and it is Bluefish, Leicester, and MEP. So I had my mom's beret, only took about like 25 grams, maybe 30 grams of yarn for that. So I had most of a full skein of yarn left. So I followed the Sophie's scarf pattern. It is a DK weight pattern, so I just held it double and did everything to pattern. So I used the exact needles and like increases and everything. And yeah, I think it's adorable, and I think I'll give it to my mom because I just feel like the aesthetic of the Sophie scarf with the beret is going to be really cute, and I think she'll like wearing it more than I will. So yeah, I really do like this pattern, and I think I will make one for myself. I actually have a lot of yarn left over from this MKAL, so I was thinking of maybe doing one in that. Oh, I forgot to talk about the yarn for my MKAL. So my MKAL, obviously I had 3 colors. I was freaking out during clues through 3 because I did not have too much of my main color left, which is the dark purple. And I was like, oh no, I feel like clue 4 is going to have a lot of main color in it, and I don't have that much left. So I went out and bought a full nother skein. This is how much of my main color I ended up with. So now I have a skein and a quarter of my main color. So I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with that. Maybe I'll turn this one into like a mini ball or something, and then this one. I was thinking of doing this one for the Sophie scarf. I feel like this is, let's see, so this is Northern Bee Studio out of Wisconsin. It's the sturdy stock, and it is Wine on the Dock. So it's an 80/20 superwash nylon, and it is it's the color Wine on the Dock. So it's this really lovely deep purple, and I have a lot of it. I think this would be a really cute Sophie scarf. So I wear her like a maroon coat a lot. I don't know, I feel like purple, reddish purple is kind of my color, so especially in fall and winter, so I don't know. Or it might become socks, because I'm honest, I really want more socks for myself. When I got sick, I was just wearing my hand knitted socks all over the place, and I only have 1 or 2 pairs for myself. The rest I've made for my fiance, so I will be probably grinding out some socks because Nitty Natty's Sockmas is coming up. So literally tomorrow I'm filming this on Thanksgiving morning because everyone's asleep here. So I will be doing that cast on party and doing socks. I also have what feels like, my scale needs new batteries, so I can't check for sure, but what feels like a good 60 grams or so left of my contrast color, and I love this one. I think this one would also be a really pretty Sophie scarf when it kind of like does the pooling and everything, or a really pretty pair of socks. And this one is less traveled yarn, 757 sock, on Winslow is the color, so it's a 75-25. I just threw that label. Whoops. It's 75-25. And then, so the reason I think those would be cute socks is because I have this much left of my orange also. Ugh, don't look at the cake, it's disgusting. So I was thinking, you know, I could do the accent color, do contrast heel toe, maybe even throw some of the dark purple in there, and like the cuff or something. I don't know. So I could have matching socks to my MKAL. I know a lot of people do that, so that might be really fun, especially with Sockness. You know what? I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to make some variation of socks with all that yarn, except for this full skein. I'm not going to touch this full skein for it because this could actually be something really cute. So, and the orange is also less traveled, 757, in the color Sedona. So there's that. I need to put stuff in Ravelry, so I'm just gonna throw all my labels down there. Oh, here's the label. Gosh, I feel so all over the place this morning. Here's my label for the Muse 2320. So it's a hand-dyed in her own studio in Hastings, and that's where I got it from. And it's a BFL Donegal sock. So, very cool. I don't think I've seen a lot of tweed fingering weight yarns, so that was always really cool to me. Okay, that's it for all my like normal whips, I guess. So moving on to my quick crochet projects that I finished in the past couple days. The first is a birthday present for my fiance's dad, and that is, I'm not sure if you guys have ever watched it, but it is a scarf inspired by Tom Baker. So he was the 4th Doctor in the classic Doctor Who's, and he wears this really, really long scarf. I think it's like 18 feet long. So there's a story behind it. They gave it to the costume designer's grandma to like knit a scarf for the character, and they gave her, 7 different colors, and they told her to knit a scarf. They thought she would just choose one color, but she used like every single inch of yarn and used all the colors and just made this really funky striped scarf. So I did make modifications. So he has a exact replica that was knitted by his grandma, and that's kind of like a family heirloom. So I obviously didn't need to make an exact replica yet, but what would be really cool is, because he can't wear that one, it's knitted by his grandma, and it's 18 feet long, so 12 feet long, however long it is. It's not really wearable, so my fiance wanted me to make a version of the scarf that could actually be worn, and so we went out, we picked up the yarn. It's just loops and threads impeccable, so it's 100% acrylic, but I don't know, it felt softer than Red Heart Super Saver, and the balls are a little bit smaller. I didn't really need too much, so they're 4.5 ounce balls, and I do have a lot left over, except for the red, which I'll get to in a second. But yeah, so I decided to crochet it. It is typically a garter stitch scarf, but I started it on Sunday night, Monday, somewhere in there, and I was just a little bit worried about finishing it in time. I've gotten a lot quicker with knitting, but I just still feel like, especially for something like a scarf, where it's like a flat, smaller flat project, I'm much quicker with crochet. I was like, okay, I'm going to do crochet because that'll get done quicker. And so I was playing around with stitches. I was going to do the waistcoat stitch, which is where you go through the legs of the single crochet instead of the normal like top loops, and that kind of makes it look knit. It makes these like V shapes like knitting, but I don't know why. I'm not sure if it's like a tension thing, but I've always had issues with that stitch. So I decided to go with the linen stitch. The one thing that was weird about that at first, and I was kind of unsure about, is because you're doing chains and then single crocheting, you get this like not straight line on the color changes. But honestly, I feel like it's kind of really fun, especially for a scarf that's more inspired. It's not an exact replica. So that's what we ended up going with. I really like the texture of the linen stitch for a scarf. I like how it looks kind of woven. And then for the striping, I found a like recipe online. So BBC has their own one, and then I found a couple others that were just like basically a chart, and one of them shows you the number of rows and then also shows you the number of garter ridges. So since the garter ridges were obviously just half the number of rows, I followed the garter ridges as the number of rows I would do. So all of these sections are half of the height that they would normally be. And also the scarf does vary a little bit between seasons, so some sections get taken off because the scarf like grew over time as it was worn, and so they started removing sections to keep it the same length. So I followed the season 13 scarf, I think is what it was for the most part, or season 14. Season 13. I removed the sections that were removed in season 12 and a half in season 13. So, and then I also, some of these like bigger sections, they're like between 15 and 21 rows, and some of them I did cut down by like 2 to 3 rows just to give myself a little extra space. And I think it turned out to be a good length. You can wrap it around twice comfortably, or you can wrap it around once and leave it longer. But yes, so an idea of what it will look on. There's a lot of neckwear in this episode today, but his birthday is tomorrow, so I will be giving it to him then. It'll be kind of like from my fiance and me, because it was his idea and he helped with all the design choices and making sure it was something his dad would love. So, last finished object. Oh my gosh, this is a long FO section. We put up the Christmas decorations. So this is the first time we're in a place big enough to actually have a full-size tree. I was in a 1-bedroom last year, and it just wasn't enough space. And yeah, so this is the first year we have our own tree, and I made a tree skirt. So, oh my gosh, hello. That should be the screenshot. It won't, but it should be. So this is the tree skirt. I followed a pattern. It's called the Bobble Stitch Tree Skirt by SeeShareLove. And I mostly followed it to pattern. I did make some adjustments. So the pattern, I followed it exactly through this first color stripe. There are supposed to be some bobbles in the main color. I did not do that. I thought it'd be kind of cool to just have the bobbles in the contrast color. And then there was supposed to be a last row of bobbles. But, so this was the red I used for the Tom Baker scarf. And this is how much yarn I had after the second row of bobbles. So that wasn't going to happen. And so I was like, okay, maybe like some white, or like something held with the white, because it was held double the entire way. It's worsted weight yarn, but I held it double to make it a bulky, or I think it's bulky. But so I was like, okay, maybe the white. I had like this old Lion Brown Pound of Love in white that I had used for some amigurumi and some other smaller projects. This is how much I have of the white. I couldn't even do like a held single border with this, so, which I'm so happy that I used these up, because I hate having a lot of like, especially this white one, it was like a massive thing of acrylic that was just sitting in a bucket. Not a fan. So I had gotten this gold yarn. Okay, let's see. Cover me up. So I had gotten this gold yarn from a mystery bag from my local yarn store last year. So it's Ella Ray Stars. And it's just 100% polyester. And they say it's fingering weight, but I say it's more of a waist weight. It's really thin. So I held that triple. I was going to hold it like 6 strands because I think that was closer to the bulky weight. But I held it with 3 strands because just the way I cut it, and I didn't want to have to cut more because I was already like a tangled mess. And then I did a reverse single crochet border. Oh my gosh, focus. So I did a reverse single crochet border. We have all red and gold ornaments on our tree. We don't have a lot of personalized ones at this point, obviously, so I thought, and then our stockings are white and red, so I thought this really was going to be cute with everything else we have. So I just need to, I wove in all the ends, but I need to make little cords to tie it together in the back because we have cats and it will get messed up if I don't. So I did this yesterday. So gotta love some bulky weight yarn for going quick. So that was my project yesterday, and yeah, just to, I mean, the scarf and the skirt, basically all I've been working on, but I started them Monday, Sunday night, somewhere in there. So very, very quick projects. Cool. That's all the apples. So we're done with finished objects, and we're going to move on to, whips. I only have 2 whips, so these sections are a lot smaller, thankfully. Otherwise we'd have like an hour and a half podcast. So my first whip I've shown once before, and I really did not make that much progress, is my sweater I'm doing for my knit-along, my in-person knit-along, and that is the Easy V by Caitlin Hunter. So I'm a little bit further, oops, there we go. I'm a little bit further into the color work, so I think I had just started this lavender section last time. I think I had just started this lavender section last time because I wanted to get all 3 colors in, and now I'm wrapping up the lavender and going back into the dark purple. So yeah, not too much into it. I plan to, now that I have this done, a couple of more functional knit makes done, I plan to hopefully get the color work done on this by the end of the weekend so that I can just stock a knit stitch the next time I'm in. So I did make it this past week. I had missed the 2 weeks before that though for traveling and being sick. So, and I'll miss this week for traveling again. So only a few more weeks left. But I think they're making this a quarterly thing, which I'm really excited about. So, and the yarn for that is all wool stock, blue fiber wool stock. So it's a 100% fine Highland wool, so it's a 2-ply, and my main color is driftwood. It's like that beigey color. And then I have lilac bloom is obviously the light purple. Pressed grapes is the darker purple. And then Highland fleece is the white. And I have a bunch more of the small skeins of the driftwood. So yeah, that's exciting though. I'm very excited to have that project done. And I realize that my pressed grapes and the wine on the dock look very, very similar. So obviously I have favorite colors. So, but hopefully there'll be more on that project next time because I think that's going to be my main focus project going forward. And then my last whip, I only have a couple now. I'm getting stuff off the needles. Actually, I have other whips, but just not active right now. Is another Musselburgh. Crazy, right? So this is the Musselburgh. It looks insane. It's a Christmas gift for my sister. I will pretty much just always have a Musselburgh on the needles. That's my goal. So this one is really cool because I'm using the Zauberball Crazy, their sock weight one. So I'm getting these insane transitions and like striping, and like they're all different like lengths of stripes. I don't know, it's making it super motivating to work on. I'm still just mainly working on it while I'm out and about, so I'll probably get a lot done this weekend with traveling, but yeah, it's a fun time. I'm following the adult small. I did have to go down a needle size on this one, so, and I found this with just the Zauberball Crazy in general, or anything that's this like 2-ply more virgin wool, or like non-superwash wool, is I have to go down a needle size. My tension just like loosens up a ton when I'm working with this type of yarn. So I had to do that. I made socks with a very similar yarn for my sister, and I had to do it with that too. So I was working with a US 3, which is normally my size for finger weight Musselburghs, and it was just way too loose. So I stopped and went down to a 2. So I needed a tea break. I only have one acquisition, which I will grab because it's in my closet. Okay. I feel like I've always come back with a new bag recently, but so I got another bag because my local yarn store keeps buying them, and they keep being really cute, and they're all completely different, so that's all we want to know. That's all we need. So I got another DellaQ bag, and this is the roll top, Maker's roll top, so it's a canvas one again. It's like this train case here. It's from the same line. It's the roll top bag, and it's from DellaQ. I don't know if I said that already, but oh my gosh, it's in light gray. That's what I was gonna say. It's light gray color. So this bag is super, super nice. It's all like leather accents, and there's even like a leather pad strap. It doesn't quite fit my MacBook, which is a little bit sad, but it really fits. It fits my tablet well. And there's a crap ton of pockets. So we have a zipper pocket on the back, and then so this clasp, and then you got 2 pockets here. You can put a safety pin of like stitch markers here if you want. And then on the inside, there's a lot going on. Okay, let's see if I can show this. So there's 2 little pouches on the side, which I assume hold yarn. I actually haven't tried this out yet. Okay, it doesn't fit a 100-gram skein, but it would fit like a ball of yarn in there. Then there's also this little flap thing that I think you thread your yarn through. There we go. You thread your yarn through, and it works like a yarn bowl in your bag. So if you put the balls of yarn in there and then thread them through, everything would stay in place. There's also a couple more pouches on this top side, and a zipper interior pocket. Oh, yes. Oh my gosh, there's a yarn cutter on here too. Okay, that's really cool. Okay, so some things. There's a stitch marker pen. There's a yarn cutter on the label. I did not know that one. It is a yarn feeder. I was right about that. And it also comes with a little dot journal. So, look. Instructions for the bag. Oh, so it also came with a little. Wow, I feel like I'm opening a lot of presents right now. A little dot journal, which I also got one of those in my other bag. And then, oh, here's my pin for stitch markers. I really like the pin for stitch markers. I think that's such a cute idea to have that on the front of the bag. I'm putting it on now so you guys can see it. Okay. I was trying to go from the front of the bag, but you have to go from inside the pouch. Ah, look how cute that is. Okay. I'll probably put some other stitch markers, but I also like that the metal all matches. I do have 3 more stitch markers from DellaQ for my other bag. And yeah, and the yarn cutter is right there. That's pretty cool. Hopefully though, when you're feeding the yarn, it doesn't get caught on the yarn cutter. That'd be bad. So yeah, that's my only acquisition. And I will say, my knit group is a lot of enablers for buying bags. Which I don't mind. I love bags. So, but yeah, that's all I have for knitting. Just brief things with life because it's been a while. So I went wedding dress shopping a few weeks ago. I guess it was like almost 3 weekends ago now. And I did end up getting my wedding dress. I will not show it here because my fiance watches this and obviously he can't see it. But it was pretty much exactly what I wanted and I'm really, really happy with it. And then 2 weekends ago now I was sick. Not COVID, but probably just a big cold, but I was out for like 3 days straight. I ended up taking a day off of work. Of course, it was over the weekend though, so I only got 1 day off. But I downloaded Dreamlight Valley, and that kind of took over my life. It's still taking over my life. I had bought it on Switch and was playing it on Switch because I was obviously like on the couch and sick. But it's kind of still really buggy. It's in early access. It will be free to play early 2023 or sometime in 2023. So it is pretty buggy still, especially on the Switch. I was getting random crashes like all the time. So I ended up buying it on Steam also, so the PC version, and I have had no issues. And there's also a lot more like automation you can do on the PC, which has been really nice for like making money, and I'm getting more into like late game stuff. I'm not really in early game anymore. So I think I'm running a thing where it's having me cook a lot of one recipe right now so I can sell it and make money. But and then Thanksgiving's today, and it's Thanksgiving weekend, so I'll be seeing my fiance's family and then also my family. So this will be the first year we're doing everything as a couple, so that'll be really exciting. Like, we've been dating for a while, but now that we're engaged and like getting married and everything, we want to actually like be together. Not that we didn't want to before, it was just really hectic. My parents are divorced, so like trying to do 4 or 5 Thanksgivings is always really difficult. So, but yeah, and Sockmas starts tomorrow. I'm really excited about that. We're just hanging out with my fiance's family, and they all get up super late, so I definitely won't have time to actually like hop on and be involved in the cast-on party this year, which will be fun. And I think I'm going to use my leftover MKAL yarn. I was kind of unsure. I also have I was thinking of this yarn just because it's from, oh gosh, okay, I gotta cover my face to get it to focus on the yarn. But this yarn, just because it is this Dream in Color yarn pop-up club, and it was their December color last year. And it is gorgeous. I really like how it's like Christmassy without being too Christmassy. You know, I might still do this one. This one does have cashmere in it. So it's the smushy cashmere base. So it's 70% superwash, 20% cashmere, and 10% nylon. And honestly, now that I'm thinking of it, these would be a gorgeous pair of socks. There's a ton of that purple in there. So I mean, I at least want to make 1 pair. Last year I did 1 pair, and it was one of my first knitting projects, so I think, and I did sock week this year, and I think I actually did finish a full pair in a week, so I think I could do 2 pairs. maybe I'll do this one first, and then this one. And then I'll have 2 new pairs of socks for myself, which will be so amazing. And these ones will be like more of an around the house one because cashmere. That sounds so soft. But yeah, so that's my big plans for tomorrow. But yeah, that's all I have for today. Super excited to film again. Also, I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but I got a new camera. I'm hoping the sound quality is better, but it's definitely looking like the video quality is a lot better. I was filming on my phone, and even with putting it in, you know, the highest possible settings, it was still looking a little grainy to me. And I think even just showing you guys some of the stuff like on the camera has been a lot clearer, and I'm excited for it. So I've always kind of been a camera person. I thought I was going to go into photography when I was younger, so I had a really nice camera, but I don't know why, I can't just talk to the camera. I want to feel like talking to someone, so I guess I'm talking to myself because I'm looking at myself in the side camera. But I wanted one that had the screen that popped out, so this one was actually made for specifically like YouTube. So I'll also put a description of the camera in case anyone's interested in that, because I know there's a lot of options out there. So yeah, thank you for joining me. If you liked the video, leave a like or a comment down below. Tell me what you're doing for Thanksgiving, if you have any fun family traditions. My family always has Greek food. We always watch the Detroit Lions game. So I will not be doing either of these things on Thanksgiving Day, but those are my traditions. And if you want to see when I post again, hopefully it'll be in 2 weeks this time and not on some random day on Thanksgiving, apparently. Hit the subscribe button and you'll get notified about that. But thank you for joining me.